All right, well, I'm at the next lock, and I'm thinking that maybe like this one says lock number 64 and 2/3. Well, I did not go 1.1 miles between that lock and this lock, so it's probably not specifically the miles. I don't think maybe it's elevation. I don't think it'd be elevation. You got to be higher in elevation than that. But I don't know. This one's still got some of the old wooden bumper system. I mean, that's pretty incredible when you think it's been like over 100 years, 100 and something years, pretty sure, since they last used this stuff. I tell you, getting more pawpaw patches. There's one over there. There's one right there. I'm not even gonna look for fruit on them though, because the ones around the locks, whenever I check, they don't seem to have any. Never have in the 5 years before this, so I don't think year 6 is going to be any different. But yeah, so I don't know exactly how. I mean, it might be rough mileage, but I think the most I went is like a 1/4 mile between that other lock and this lock. So yeah, but I don't know. It's just great to be out here though. I mean, I would have loved to have been out here whenever this was actually in use, and when you could see the barges go by, and they'd have nice little like businesses along it. They would have little pubs and little what do they call those, little inns, you know, little places where you could sleep for the night. And yeah, they had all kinds of little, you know, places like that along this trail. And of course, like I said, it wouldn't have looked much like this at all. Most of these trees wouldn't be here. I mean, none of these trees, you know, would be around here. Yeah, because this would have been all cleared. It would have been pretty open. But, you know, like I said, over 100 years now, and it's you can see how it's really grown back up. And I noticed one thing too is there seems to be a lot of box elder trees in this area. I mean, I've only recently really learned how to, you know, learned about the box elders. I mean, I've seen them a lot in the past. I just didn't realize that's what I was looking at. But we also got a lot of black walnuts. Like here's a big, beautiful black walnut tree right here. It's got a lot of nuts on it. But I've come across a lot of those, and we're in a nice little sycamore patch here, and a couple of stands of white pines. I think this one here in front of me is a white pine, in fact. It's split in the middle there, but and then it splits again twice, which is unusual for white pines, but it sure looks like a white pine. And it's got the longer needles, clusters of 5 already looked. So yeah, it's maybe it's because it's down here and not in full sun as much, but I mean, it's just great to be out here. I haven't seen any wildlife yet, but usually about at this point is where I start seeing the deer every time. And then there's a couple of pools up here, like I said, with turtles, and then right around the, you know, it's about as far as you can see down there. That's when we start getting next to the river again. This hillside over here, it kind of levels out and it goes peters down, and then you got the river on the side again, which you know, once we get to the, man, there's another little pawpaw patch over there. But once we get down to the river, that's when we're going to start seeing a lot more of the patches, and that's where they actually start lining the whole riverside for miles, all around those bends where you saw in that picture the curves. Yeah, the pawpaw trees just love that alluvial based soil, deep, rich, you know, deep and rich soil with a lot of nutrition in it. So that's where they tend to thrive. I mean, they actually grow. I've seen them up here on top of this, and on the top of the trail, because anywhere where mankind goes through, he's going to plant them. Because since the settler days, the colonial days, the pawpaw was loved back then. Oh my God! I mean, all the colonials and settlers just really loved them. George Washington said it was his favorite fruit. Albert Gallatin, right where I live, he has them all over his property. So, you know, they actually, in those days when the colonization of America was going on, they actually, you know, they actually planted them around and spread them even more than their original location. But even before the settlers were here, the Native Americans did the same thing, because the Native Americans were, you know, really valued them as a food source as well. So So, you know, it's got a long history. You know, the Paw Paw was, like I said, enjoyed by the colonists, the settlers. They've kind of fallen out of favor, like I said, because they don't ship well. You're not going to really get, many in the stores. Kentucky University, they have a program where they're trying to bring them back, you know, trying to make them more readily available, and they're studying them and cultivating new breeds and such like that. Now you can see the canal starts opening up really wide here. And like I said, from this point, this is where I usually start seeing the deer and stuff. For some reason, they seem to like this area. But here's another lock. Another lock I just came across just since I had the video on, and this one is 63 1/3. You see, that was not a 1.3 miles, so definitely not. Markers aren't going by that. But it looks like this was replaced in 1910, as you can see here. 1910. You can see the concrete work where they fixed it. So, good Lord, that's over 100 years right there. That's, what is it, 113 years when they put this piece of concrete in? And my goodness, 113 years, wow. Yeah, another nice little white pine growing there. But, yeah, like I said, a lot of history. And it's just a real nice place. So if you ever get the chance, if you're in the area, you know, just come on and check it out, walk the trail for a while, and or any part of the C&O Canal Trail or the Gap Trail. I mean, there's so much. It's a couple 100 miles long. Like I said, it goes from Pittsburgh all the way to DC, so a lot to explore there. All right, we'll get down to the river here. We'll see what we can see down here. All right, a little bit farther, and we are starting to get into the Paw Paws. They're all in here. The river's not too far that way. We're gonna get closer to it here, but we got some mullein here, some cowboy toilet paper, real soft and velvety, and we got one of these. This is the canal bed, and now this is probably where, if the canal got too full, they would drain off some of the excess water, I would imagine, and it goes down into the river, the Potomac. And yeah, they, like I said, it probably looked a lot different back in those days. But we got a little paw tree growing right there. And we got several patches that are just right in full sun too. There's one back there, and this one's in full sun. Got a nice little redbud tree here with a bunch of seed pods on it. I got a nice little redbud tree at home, but this is the first one I've seen with seed pods like this on it. But obviously redbud, like I said, since I have one, I actually know what they look like. And the reason I turned the camera back on now is not only because you got all these pawpaws starting to come in, you also got a lot of, you probably can't see that, but there's a lot of spice bush with the red berries. And they're very waxy here, and they actually taste pretty good. There's some more right there. But the reason I basically turned the camera on is to see if we could get some pictures of the turtles, because there's a nice little pond right here in the canal. I can hear that bullfrog making some noise. But no, I don't see any turtles. Usually I see turtles in here. I was hoping that we could get some turtle footage here, but I don't see any in there today. Yeah, usually there's like 4 or 5 of them sitting on that log over there, but maybe they just heard me coming and jumped off. And still a lot of that, can't remember what the hell it's called. I think it's maybe called arrowroot. All I remember is that plant is like, it grows everywhere, and you can eat the bulbs, kind of like cattail root, kind of like potatoes. I don't know if it's technically called a tuber or a rhizome or something like that, but yeah, it's one of the edible things. And here we got some nice, thistle. Of course, I always like thistle for some reason. But yeah, another little nice pawpaw tree here. This one doesn't have any fruit, it doesn't look like. But there's only 2. There's one little fruit on that one. Then you got another one here. Like I said, they're starting to get a little more prolific. There's a whole bunch. There's one right there. There's a little one right there. There's a whole bunch in the backdrop, and I can see the river through the trees, but it's probably too much for the camera to pick up it. There's another little pawpaw. Some across the little canal there. Another box elder tree. Here's another nice little patch. I don't see any fruit on these, but even trees this size here will have fruit on them. So they don't have to get that big in order. Yeah, see, there's 2 fruits right here. Yep. They don't have to be that big to actually get the fruit on them. Yeah, there's 2 more little fruits there. But oh yeah, here you can see the spice bush berries. There are a lot of them on these bushes, and I'm not particularly fond of them, but I do take a taste of them from now and then just to see what the different flavors are between areas, different states. The leaves are a little too much for me. The berries are a little milder than the leaves usually, but they have a certain bitterness to them too. But they were used in the old days mostly by settlers and stuff. And look at this, we got something interesting. This tree goes up over and see, it's funny the things I find interesting. See, there's the river. You can't really see it very well down through there though yet. Sometimes I've come here. I came here in the summer one time, and there were just people tubing down this river like crazy. I mean, there were just nothing but nonstop people talking and on inner tubes and little rafts and everything just going straight down in there. Oh, a nice little picnic area. Kind of good that I reached this little picnic area at this one lock and dam because they have a portable toilet. So, I mean, you know, being a guy, I can pretty much go, you know, anywhere as long as I can, you know. But it's better, of course. They got the porta potty down there. Now, for some reason at this lock, I always seem to see a lot of snakes here. I don't see any right now laying on the rocks, but a lot of times I come here and yeah, there are snakes right up on the edge here, and then when I get close to them, they go down into the rocks. But like I said, well, I'm not in the sunshine yet either, so they'll probably come out and sun themselves later in the day. But almost every year I come here, there's snakes in this area right here. And they're not poisonous, they're a harmless variety, but still, you know, you can see the hole right there. Yeah. And they actually, right on the side of the rocks there, they'll just sit there and they'll find a nice little spot to lay and sun themselves. And I'll be able to see them like that. Yep, but yep, nice little area. You just definitely should come check it out. Anytime you're traveling through the area, you know, Paw Paw Tunnel. Like I said, I come here every year. Every year I pretty much really enjoy this hike. I look forward to it. Gather up me some pawpaw fruit and some seeds every year. And they have these nice little water pumps here too. So well water is non-potable, not treated, not for drinking or cooking. Yeah, so they want you to boil it or chemically treat it, but you have to pump this thing for quite a while. Usually, you have to pump it a while to get the darn water out. I'm not going to waste my time, but yeah. See, now this was probably one of those. This was probably one of those little taverns or pubs or something like, or just maybe just a little lock house or something back in those days. I mean, since it's right on the lock, it could have been just where the person who managed the locks lived, or it could have had a little, you know, little shop or something around here. Who knows? Yeah, the Potomac River up this far doesn't seem very deep. I can see the bottom all the way across. So, yeah, it's not very deep, and it's actually low flowing now. Usually there's a little more flow to it than there is right now, so, yeah. But it's usually, the thing is, and the reason I turn the camera on now is because right here at that area, this is where they really start. This is the very end of where the pawpaws just start lining this trail for quite a ways. I haven't actually gone all that far down, but after the porta potty right here, you just start getting them on both sides of the trail. And that's, you know, mostly just all pawpaws. At least for a good half a mile on this part of the trail, but I haven't gone that far down, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, I can see them right now. There's a lot of pawpaws in here, but they're covered with grapevine. So, all right. Once I gather up a bunch of these pawpaws, I'm gonna go ahead and just show you what I've collected. Hopefully, I'll find some of the trees with the big ones, like I said. And I don't know. I plan to get at least a shopping bag full. Put in my backpack. Like I said, I just want some seed stock so I can. This is year 6, and it's only been 5 years that I've been collecting seeds from here. So, and that was my plan. My goal was to go do a 5-year stretch and plant, 5-year stretch, all kinds of pawpaws around my area back home. So this is the last year of that original goal. And well, we'll see how it goes. Well, still down here. Haven't found any ripe pawpaws yet, but did come across a couple of butternut trees here. So as you can see here, got some wild butternuts there. And you can tell, like I said, they're just like black walnuts, only they're more oblong shaped. Black walnuts are round. These are actually very fuzzy. But I'm just gathering them from here so I could take them home and plant these nuts around the house. Kind of want to, they're not too common, not even here. I mean, these are the only 2 trees I've come across. There's 2 of them here. Well, actually, there might be more, but I only see 2. And yeah, I just figure, you know, take a little sampling of wild native bushes and stuff that I don't have too much of at my area, and kind of try to proliferate them around my house. I mean, especially nut trees and things like that, because there's a bladder nut tree down here that I remember from last year. I'm sure that, they're actually, the seeds from those are actually edible too, but they're kind of hard and crunchy, like it'd be like eating popcorn kernels. So I don't really generally tend to eat those, but butternuts, I would like to have more of those around my house. I mean, I've only found 2 or 3 trees right around where I live, so. All right, I'll keep looking. Hopefully we'll find some ripe pawpaws. Well, I'm here at mile 154 on the trail. And funny thing is, even though, like I said, they're on both sides of the trail, I haven't found a single ripe one yet. They're all, I mean, there's a lot of them here. But, see, that's a nice little cluster there. But let's see. Yeah, there's some more up there. Yeah, none of these in this area seem to be ripe like back there at the beginning. So, it's funny. Usually by the 2nd week of September, I'm getting a good amount of them here, and there's still plenty on the trees. But I'm noticing that a lot of these look like they're just like there's a single one on that tree. But yeah, it's looking like they're not quite ready at this general area. There's a nice big cluster. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's gotta be one of the biggest clusters I've seen yet. What are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's at least 7 on that cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count 7 for sure. There might be one more down there. But yeah, that's one of the bigger clusters. I mean, sometimes they're single. Usually there's more than one. But I'm just waiting for one to clock me upside the head. Oops. Gotta get my spider webs off the camera. Yeah, but even that big cluster wasn't, none of those were ripe. Sometimes you'll get big clusters like that with 7. I mean, I think I've seen them with up to 12, but they don't, sometimes they'll get a bunch of small ones with a couple of big ones. But like I said, I haven't found a single ripe one yet. There's a couple up there, but neither one of them look ripe either. Now, it's kind of hard to tell when they're ripe because they generally tend to stay green. but some varieties, they actually turn yellowish. And now you can tell for sure that they're ripe when they turn black. Now you can see these are all pawpaw trees down in here. And this one's actually pretty big right here in front of me. That's a nice big spread on it. But again, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's a couple of dozen fruit on this one. But again, I don't think any of these are ripe over here. It's funny because this is usually where I get the big ones from in this patch. Oh, I can see one down there on the ground. Let's go see if that one's actually ripe. Ugh. Oh, here's another one. Hold on. I think someone else has probably been through here. Yeah, because this is not ripe. So I think someone came along and I found like 3 or 4 more that were unripe like this. So what I'm thinking is that somebody came through here doing the same thing I'm doing, but they were probably shaking the trees a little too violently. Because the thing is, you don't want to shake the trees very hard at all. You have to just shake it lightly. Yeah, because all these ones that I'm finding on the ground, they aren't ripe yet. They're still hard. So whoever came down here before me obviously shook the tree too hard. Broke off the ones that weren't ripe yet. Yeah, you just want to give them a light little shake. Just grab onto the trunk, give it a light little shake, and any fruits that are ripe should just fall right off the ground, or onto the ground. Yeah, every last one of these that I've picked up. Like I said, someone else has been through here, I think. This looks like a seedling that started from a seed. Another one started from a seed. Now this is probably a root sucker. Same here, probably a root sucker. Yeah, but I can actually see some of these that clearly, like this one here, just starting from a seed. Don't want to step on them. I'm trying to be careful where I step. Now, I could take all these that are not quite ripe for seed and just, plant the whole fruit. Got some bicyclers coming through. I could just plant the whole fruit in the ground and it'd probably sprout if the fruit actually got a little riper. But I like just getting the ripe ones and doing it. So, well, regardless of not getting any down here ripe ones, it was still a nice little hike. Oh, there we got a turtle. Plop right in the water. A bunch of them just jumping right down. There's still one on that log out there. Yeah, I guess they just moved down the river a little bit. Turtles have always been one of my favorites. They remind me of my amazing Aunt Sue, who just passed away recently, last year or this year sometime. Whew. Went for her funeral. There's a little turtle there. So every time I see turtles, I think of my Aunt Sue. Yeah, one of my favorite aunts. Let's try one more tree shake here. I don't know. I'm just thinking out of spite, this fruit's gonna drop off and hit me in the head. Yep, like I said, I don't think any of these are ripe yet. Yeah, so that's a little tip there, people. If you do go out looking for pawpaws and you find nice patches like this, don't shake the tree too hard, because just give it a light shake and the fruit that's ripe should just fall off. If you shake it too hard violently, you'll break off the non-ripe fruit, and then it's not really good for anybody. I mean, the slugs and stuff will still be able to eat it, but even the animals that live off of the pawpaw fruit, this time of year, they probably won't be able to eat it either. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Like I said, just tons of them here. Another week. Now these there'll probably still be some on the trees into the beginning of October. But generally, in our area or in this far north, generally right around when September comes. Sometimes, depending, I guess, on the summer, you might get some as early as August. the end of August, but I haven't really seen any in August around here, or in Pennsylvania where I'm from, or even here. But usually it's the second week of September to the beginning of October. So if you're planning on coming to this particular area, you might give it another week or two, because like I said, I haven't found a ripe one yet on this little section. But I do see a blatternut tree, which I really love. These little trees, they've got these interesting little seed pods. You see there, like, they got three little points on them, and you break them open, and they got these little seeds inside of them. See, it's like a little hollow papery husk. But I definitely try to plant more of these around too, just because, well, they're an understory tree too, and they just look kind of interesting with all these little pods hanging down. I just really like them, so I think I'll pick some of these up. I'll gather some of these up and take them home so that I can plant them around my area, because I only found one tree so far around my area, and I think I found 3 or 4 of these so far here. So yeah, they seem a little bit more prolific here. All right, so unless I come across anything more interesting, like if a deer walks right up to me, which has happened in the past, then I'll probably just end it here. I probably will make a second video though, because I'm planning on stopping in the historic district down there to have my seafood platter down at the Krabby Pig in Cumberland. So that's on the way back, and like I said, part of the tradition is always having my seafood there on the way back. So all right, so I hope you enjoyed this little romp, this little hike. And like I said, in case if there's nothing else interesting that pops up, then this will be the end. Hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll be taking many more adventures, of course. Just hiking here and there, and who knows. All right, thanks. Bye.